So what? Look.
It's the new OGs. The new OGs is a State and Madison entertainment production that is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a black-owned company and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters. Yes, sir. Yes, there he is.
Bobby!
Yes, sir. It's the second one that gets you.
We back in the studio.
We're back in the studio together.
And I just want everybody to understand that everything you just said, I want to make sure we got it right.
Right.
You just told these people that they can save money every single month on their electric bill.
That's correct.
You also told them that by doing this, you can help the environment.
That's correct. You can help the environment.
And even if you don't do this, but you refer somebody and they can take advantage of this and help save the earth, they get $500 for every person they refer that can do that.
Yeah, even like if you own a home, but your roof doesn't qualify, or if you don't own a home, like you can still get the $500 by referring somebody else who does if they go solar.
Wow, man, that's good, but that is not as good as Mo Good tonight at Stand Up, baby. Because that's the goodest of the good, but that's almost as good as Mo Good at Stand Up tonight. Shout out to my man.
I mean,
and a little shout out.
Yeah.
Don't expect the big man to do such a great assist,
right? Well, it may be too late for you to get tickets to see Mo Good tonight, but if you want to have the type of money that allow you to pay for yourself to see a ticket, to get a ticket to see her some other time, get over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Get in contact for a free consultation or refer somebody that you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy on Facebook. Please get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. See all the great shows offered there. Check in daily. They've got a ton of great fresh podcasts you can watch and listen to. James is returning to the production side, the live show production side of his world today. That's what XL, my main man, was talking about. Was talking about James going back to stand up. The return is tonight.
Yes, sir.
Black headliner tonight. Black female headliner tonight, which is amazing. Black host.
Who's black host?
It's
Michael Robinson.
I love Michael Robinson.
Yeah.
he just posted a story where he's all fucked up, so he's got a story to tell tonight. So
oh boy,
he's always got a story, man. That's why I love that little dude, man.
Yeah, he's very good at.
I had him at my album recording. He opened for me on my album recording.
He's like, I mean, he is a fame away from doing like a little bit of Richard Pryor in his prime, as far as like just the personal crazy shit he has up in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? None of the success. None of the success.
Just all the pain. Just all the fucking insanity.
Yeah, he's
like, dude, getting set on fire.
He's like, listen, I could wait. He's like, listen, I could wait till I was famous to have all this crazy shit happen, or I could just do it right now. I'm like,
he get that shit out of the way before you get the paper.
Fame, no fame, whatever, man. Let's fucking
brilliant. That's why that nigga brilliant, man, because he ain't costing him no money for this shit now.
Yeah.
If some of this shit that happened to him after he got his paper, that's how that'd be like, damn, he lost all his money because that shit.
Well, like, he doesn't have to deal with it. This is less PR cost, because if this was down the road when you already had a PR team, he'd be paying for them to cover all this shit up.
God bless the publicist that has to deal with his shit when that nigga pop. Oh, man.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, XL? You're in the studio right now.
I'm in the stew. I'm excited.
Other than my ears, it's nice to be right next to you.
Hey.
My ears will make it, but we'll see.
I'm loud. Live with me. That's what I am. I'm a loud motherfucker.
We've talked about this before. There are zero things small about what's going on in your world. There's just like, there's no version of small that like there's like everybody, little is a very subjective term. You know what I mean? Like, what's a little piece of cake to all of us? You know what I mean?
Man,
it's probably not the same.
I mean, no disrespect by this at all.
It sounds like one of the mini cakes.
But like sometimes when people talk about how big Bobby is, I was like, Bobby, I don't say this about Bobby. He's not that big. Why people think Bobby big? And then you said the other day, like, this is you slimmed down, and you were like, yeah, I'm about 250 now. And I was like, oh shit, Bobby's huge. To everybody else, Bobby is huge. you're 6'3", right?
I'm 6'2". I won't lie. I'm 6'2".
6'2", 250. That's an NFL player, people.
Yeah.
I
I try and tell people I had like my body is like a linebacker who retired like 2 years ago. Like that's where I'm at right now. I'm like if Von Miller retired and then 2 years later, and he wasn't trying to like get into boxing or whatever the fuck they all do when they retire. Like if he was just like, I'm just gonna go be on ESPN for a minute. Like I'm about where Von Miller's body would look like 2 years after retirement. That's about where I'm at right now.
Okay.
I tell people all the time I'm not big either because I know people like you know, as somebody who also played for like there were linemen who were bigger than me. I played on basketball teams with guys bigger. I played against the boys of King where Shard Hamilton and Hamilton and Griffith. Yeah. Thomas Hamilton and Rashard Griffith. Like, you know, I played against guys who are 7 feet tall. So when people are like, man, you a big dude, I'm like maybe compared to like Anthony Bonazzo, like that's a
shout out to Anthony Bonazzo.
Anthony Bonazzo loves
like
shout outs.
Why won't he? He's a little
No,
guy, but he's mighty. He's a mighty motherfucker.
I am an ally to Anthony Bonazzo's plight. I support Anthony Bonazzo's defense of heightism.
Yes.
Very much. I believe he is. I think he's right in his in the defense that he has.
I have to because I have to be fair.
I know you have a prejudice against little motherfuckers.
I tell the truth. I hate short niggas, but I love him. Fuck most short niggas, but he's not a short dude that has like a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't have like the classic Napoleon complex, which is wrongly named, which I say,
right.
but it doesn't matter. He's not that dude. He's a very cool fucking guy. He's a great guy. I am an ally of him as well. But other short niggas fuck.
Well, his chip is not against tall people. His chip is just about the idea that like everybody's got a flaw. Everybody's got like a thing that is like potentially deal breakerish. So like, you know, and his response to his dealing and dating is hilarious when it comes to that. But anyway, how you doing, man? You're big. You're in the studio. You're loving life. Obviously, you seem to be having a good time. Are the mushrooms on today? Or
no mushrooms today.
No mushrooms today.
Just,
he's pulled it together. Last week he was a little loose with it. He was a little. Last couple of weeks he's been going through a thing, and now he's recovered.
I just forgot to call my dealer. He is horrible at his job, and if I don't call that nigga like well in advance, it is impossible to connect with him.
Time out.
Yeah.
Now, you are upset because your drug dealer is unreliable.
This is one of my main goals in drugs being legal. Actually, I think there's a comic named Kyle Scanlon who had a great bit about it, but it's definitely so that I could it's the same reason why I want them to raise the wages, because I want to be able to complain and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I want to
I want to be able to Yelp review.
Like you can only complain so much about
sold me an ounce.
You can only complain so much about your drug dealer before he just disappears altogether, and then where you gonna get your drugs? You know what I mean?
Hey,
Oh my God!
Barry Hayes, 1 star.
I got stuff for your ass. I'll be right back.
You know, like I want to be able to fucking, you know, if you can, once you can have a reason to be bitching about some shit, or at least have a competitor to go to. You know, like if your mushroom guy is out, it's not like you got 15 mushroom guys, or maybe, you know what I mean? You get Amazon some mushrooms. All of a sudden you start looking up recipes and how to make shit. You're like, oh, I got to be a botanist now. No, man, just give me a store to go to. You know, like that's that's the process when you lose a drug guy. You're just like, I don't know, can I make LSD on my own? Is that a thing I could do? Like you you seriously consider it for a minute there. You're like,
Now you got that in your search history.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I'm from the hood. It ain't never hard to find another drug guy.
But you know,
well, it depends on the drug you're looking for. You know what I mean?
So you know, this is a problem I've always had, man. Like I have never. The only dude that I ever bought drugs from back in the day, from my quote unquote hood or whatever, actually was a dude he was a vice lord. I grew up GD. He was a vice lord, and the only reason I bought weed from him was because I knew he wouldn't be able to tell anybody on the GD side that, man, Big XL be smoking that much weed. Like, ain't nobody gonna talk to him, or they ain't gonna believe him. Like, yeah, he lying on old folks, man. Old folks ain't bad like that. He ain't smoking 2 ounces a week.
See, this is how you can tell that war tactics were poor. Because to me, if I'm on the opposition, I'm like, this nigga must be slipping if he high this much. This big nigga is not ready if we have to go on the offensive because he'll be high.
I mean, like, ain't nobody strategizing.
No, I mean back then though. I mean back then if you.
Hey, but wait, this is what I was thinking when you said that. Like, who is he getting this weed from? If it ain't me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's so
I
funny.
don't care about you being high. I want to know who getting the money. Shit.
Rob, how are you doing, man? Are you in LA right now? Where are you located?
Yeah, I'm in LA right now. I'm in LA right now. We're putting together some tour dates for Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
We'll talk off air to figure out what's happening. But
That's where Bobby lives.
I live there. I'm very excited.
We'll talk for some shit in
By the way,
October.
side note, comedy's great in Wisconsin, and my penis loves Wisconsin. So
Yeah. Those are also things that I found to be true for me.
it's a great state for my dick. I gotta be
Hey
honest
man,
with you.
I just dig how people in Wisconsin act. You know what I'm saying? I just dig.
Some of them are fine.
Yeah. I ain't talking. You know,
It's either fine or terrible. The cool ones are super cool though. The cool ones are the
talking
best.
about the ones that would come to see me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, the ones who'd be fans of ours are great.
Yeah.
The ones who'd be fans of ours are great. Comedy's a weird world, man. And you have a lot of ups, you get downs too. Tony Baker, who's a comic. This story was so wild it ended up like I have auto blogs that I get information all the time. That's how I keep up on all my dumb auto news because I'm a nerd in that way. But it actually showed up on Jalopnik, which is an auto website that I read. And I guess it was in Burbank, California, which is not far from where I used to live. 3 cars involved in an accident: a Volkswagen Jetta, a Kia, and a Mercedes, which are not.
Wow.
Those are. I mean, you know what happens is somebody pulled up to a stoplight real fast, and somebody was already trying to be going fast somewhere, and they're both at the stoplight at the same time. They go flying. They probably get a couple blocks, and they're having a good time of it. Nobody's like showing up the other one just yet, and they go flying again, and all of a sudden there's a car turning left at the wrong time, right?
Yeah.
Like someone makes a miscalculation. They don't realize how quickly those cars are coming because in a place where, God, what's the fastest speed limit in Burbank on those side streets? 35 miles an hour,
30,
maybe.
35 tops.
You know what I mean? Like if they're doing 60 even, it's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Tiger Woods.
So
I mean, there was another car involved in Tiger Woods, but he was basically they said he was going too fast on one of those streets, and it's turn. I mean, I don't know what it is. I want to speculate because I didn't look and see what the.
Rob, do you know Tony Baker? You know Tony.
I don't.
You don't know Tony. Okay. His son died. He was one of the people who passed in the car accident, which was just
big fan. Very sad.
Yeah, it was not the. It's one of those things where this is one of those maturity things I figured out as I've gotten older because I used to be kind of a very offensive driver. I learned how to drive in Chicago when I was 12 years old. And so, and I don't know if I really need to tell much more of the story of that, but imagine growing up anywhere that's not as big as Chicago and how you learned to drive, and think about the first time you had to drive in Chicago. That's how I learned how to drive, was on those streets. Okay, so, it took me a long ways to get away from that. The number of accidents I had when I was a kid, and the number of tickets I got when I was a kid. And then I think what saved me was Google Maps, because I used to I'd see Google Maps and it used to be a challenge for me. And I go, all right, well, how quick can I get, this thing says an hour and a half. Let's see. You know what I mean? And it would just be like, how quick will not seeing a cop allow me to go as far as fast? And I realized when I would even get to places where I wouldn't get interrupted by a cop or pulled over or, have to slow down or weave, I was still only getting there a couple minutes quicker.
Yeah, you only get like that.
You know what I mean? For all the times I get up to 90 or 95 or even 100 miles an hour sometimes when I was really cooking somewhere, like I'd shave a few minutes off of going 10 miles over.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm just like, well, 10 miles is the max. Like, unless everybody's zooming at 15 miles over, 10 miles over is cool for me.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much I go by cops at 10 miles over and they don't look, they don't get behind you. They don't give a fuck about you if you're going 10 miles over. That's it.
Yeah.
Because you're right in that range of warning, which is 9 miles over, and actual ticket, which is 10. And it's just like, it's not worth it because they're looking for somebody going 90 and a 70.
Yeah.
That's a real ticket they can write.
I do basically the exact same thing. Like I very rarely, like if there's extenuating circumstances, maybe if there's a pack of cars flying, I might join in at the back end just to take advantage of drafting off of them or whatever. But,
yeah. I'll roll with the crowd. If everybody's flying, let's go.
But yeah. Somebody knows something more.
like if even the semis are doing 85, I'm like, obviously nobody's around. Like,
also, what the fuck is going on behind us? Why is everybody going so fast? Nigga, let's go, shit. I don't see it on my rear view, but these niggas might know something. Let's ride, let's go.
You niggas got sensible cars. Y'all beating the fuck
and
out
I'm a talent. You know, I've been.
Hey, watch your mouth, boy. That CRV got game, baby. I be eating niggas up off the line at stop signs, Sam. Hey, I'm not joking, dude. This motherfucker got that little pitch got go. Don't disrespect my whip.
I've been to actual racing school. I went to when I worked for Audi. They sent us off to this racing school down at Texas Motor Speedway. So I've at least had some legit trained by the Panos racing team style interaction. And so like I understand mechanics and how to make a lot of things happen, but there's just the actual minute savings when you're dealing with human traffic and interaction at the rate you're dealing with in a city. You're just not saving the time. Another unfortunate thing that happened, Paul Johnson, who is a famous Chicago house DJ, passed away
internationally
over COVID. He was 50 years old. He started DJing when he was like 13. Which means by the time I was hearing him, he was already like a decade into the game, which is wild because I'm a very, as far as Chicago raves and house shit, I'm like, I was an early adapter, I was in the 90s. And he had a song called "Get Down" that was that got big, I think, in '99. But he put out over, 100 album songs, LP singles. I mean, internationally known DJ. He had been in a wheelchair from the time I had known him from a shooting incident when he was younger, and then lost a leg and then another one over the course of time. So I'm assuming there's an immunocompromised situation that probably went on with it. But tough loss at 50 because he's such an amazing DJ, man, and he was still playing out before the whole pandemic thing. So
I actually got to. I was a fan of him for all his whole run, but. Because of my cousin Adonis, DJ Adonis, I got to hang out with him behind. You know how they always have like that little crew of people with the DJ behind the thing. I'm the giant hulking, looking like everybody's bodyguard nigga in the back. It's very sad, man.
Because he was
very sad.
well.
He's
here's the thing:
dude.
is like
super good dude.
That's the thing is like this is a dude who was in a wheelchair in a crowd like
rock the motherfucker
in places that were like you could call it the DJ booth, but it was like you know what I mean. It was like the tables and then a couple of your boys keeping somebody from getting too close to holler at you, right? And this dude's in a wheelchair and like. Just the nicest. Like even when he was asking for room, it was like in the most polite way.
Hey, do you mind?
Like just unbelievable. So it's a huge loss for the house community, and a lot of people I know are. It's a tough year for that. Which brings us to the next situation, which is this Delta variant shit is still going strong. I'm back to wearing masks in the grocery store.
Same.
I am. I'm vaccinated, and so
I'm vaccinated.
The story is as of now that they know is if you're vaccinated, you can still get COVID with the Delta variant, which they've always said you can still get COVID if you're vaccinated. You can still get COVID with the situation. Unless you're older or you're immunocompromised, it's likely you will not be hospitalized with whatever's going on. You may get sick, but it'll be like the cold or the flu. Mm-hmm. The only issue is that if you get if you get any of the viral load, it's still you still can carry the massive viral load and give it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, which is why, for the sake of not just idiots, that's mean. For the sake of unvaccinated people, both those who cannot get vaccinated and those who are idiots.
Thank you.
I'm back to wearing a mask on the inside.
It's yeah, man. Like, I had a nurse. She wasn't talking to me. I was watching an interview, and a nurse broke down something, and it did give me some perspective because the reporter kind of tried to get like a zing response out of her, and she asked her, "Is it harder to?" Because the first time when people dealt with COVID and there was nothing they could do last summer, there was no vaccine. These people were just getting hit by something they had no control over.
Right.
There was a lot of empathy, a lot of sadness, a lot of sympathy. Like, do you feel the same way now when when these people could have had a vaccine and they were refusing it? And she said, well, being a nurse, I deal with people like self-inflicted
gunshot wounds,
like stuff.
No,
but she was even just like
everything.
She's smoking. Yeah, she's like,
smoking is a self-inflicted
people smoke,
thing
yeah,
too.
People smoke, they get lung cancer or shit like that. Some people get other stuff. So she gave a list of things, alcoholism, shit like that. And so she's like, I deal with this all the time. So I just deal with trying to get them as healthy as I can get them and tell them things they're supposed to do, but. This is not something new. This is it's new to this, but it's not new.
Right.
People do shit like this to themselves all the time.
Rob, what's the move in LA right now? Because I know there are high infections among the unvaccinated there, but the vaccinated seem to still be okay, right? Is that the word?
Yeah, it's weird for me, man, because I don't go nowhere. I don't go nowhere. And when I do gotta go somewhere and it's another motherfucker there, I got on a mask.
Right.
I'm saying, like, I don't know if you are. Now, if I go to your house and I know y'all, I'm gonna act like I don't know them to act.
Right.
But people I don't know, I act like I don't know them. I'm fucking not fit to catch that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm doing the same shit at the beginning. Like, I'm wiping my hands and shit. I still go to the gym, but I see these motherfuckers struggling to breathe. And they ain't got no mask on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck you, I got on a mask.
And I'm
staying the fuck away from you.
It is wild. I heard a story today. They were talking to this lady. It was about people who were unvaccinated, and they were just talking to people who decided not to get the vaccine for various reasons. And this one lady they talked to, who was, of course, down in Port Lucie, Florida, she was saying that they asked her what she did for a living. She had COVID twice. She got it once in February of 2020, and then she got it again in May of this past year. And she said she got it in May because she threw a graduation party, I think, for her daughter, or some type of party that had like 15 people at it, she says. Yeah. Right? And then they asked her later on, like, what do you do for a living? And she goes, well, I was taking care of my grandmother, but she passed. She had dementia. And they said, did your grandmother get COVID? And she goes, yeah, but the COVID didn't kill her. She got out of the hospital from the COVID, but her body was too weak. And she goes, well, do you think the COVID had something to do with it? And she goes, yeah. And then she goes, when did she get COVID at the party because 8 people got COVID at this party that she threw? And she goes, was your grandmother one of the people who got COVID at the party? And she goes, yeah. And so, and the lady and the family member who gave it to them is a woman who hadn't gotten vaccinated, and she works in a bar. So she got COVID from somebody at a bar. She went to this party that this lady who had already had COVID once threw for somebody's graduation or whatever, including the 80-some-year-old grandmother who was there, who was also unvaccinated. And then the grandmother gets COVID, doesn't die, but she's so frail after getting out of the hospital that she ends up dying not long afterwards.
Yeah.
And then this lady is still like, I'm not getting vaccinated.
That shit is insane.
Because the government made this vaccine and the FDA hasn't approved it yet. Even though the FDA, ladies and gentlemen, is the government. I don't know if you know that. It's the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so silly. You know what I mean?
The first part of FDA, the F. It's federal.
Where did she get that thought from?
Federal.
Right. That's the problem, is that someone, and here's the deal. Here's what you have going on now. You've got these Southern Republicans now, and also these people on Fox. First of all, everybody on Fox, a quarter of the people who are on Fox News are like, you should get the vaccine if you get the vaccine. And then after they say you should get the vaccine, another person is always just like, well, you should check with your doctor or whatever. And it's like, well, nobody's checking with their doctor.
Yeah,
just
getting check with your doctor. Check with every goddamn doctor in the country. Like every doctor in the country.
What doctors are telling you not to get the vaccine who are working in this field? The other thing is that all these politicians that before were saying, we don't know if this is real and we got to keep everything going. Like the governor down in Arkansas they're now coming out saying they regret the fact that they approved a statewide ban on face mask mandates,
and it's a fucking law now.
They're like,
and they can't just
shit,
take it out.
We made a law that you can't mandate people wearing masks, but what we really like to do is make people wear masks. Which again, if we're trying to talk about the problems with this certain party when it comes to writing laws that end up fucking them anyway, like this party does more to write laws that fuck them. Whenever they write something, it's like, oh yeah, this fucking keeps half of us from voting also. Oh shit. Like it's so goofy the way they behave. It's so goofy the way they behave.
Because they don't believe government can work, and everything they do is to prove it.
Yeah.
And
that's actually very
themselves.
smart. Their goal is to try and prove that this is terrible, that this is a bad thing, that this doesn't work. The other thing that's come out of this is that
even what we tried to do is no, you're just stupid.
The other thing I brought up I think it was on last week's show, that the right is using this as an excuse to blame COVID on immigration. That's their move. And so Texas governor tried to start this law that was basically like a stop and frisk law of anybody who looked like they were brown in Texas, which a judge blocked, by the way.
Yeah, because that's like, what, 35% of Texas?
Yeah. The governor tried to pass a law that basically said they could stop anybody that looked like they were transporting migrants. So literally...
So 35% of Texas.
So if you got a brother in the back of your car...
Hey, man, how many migrants could I fit in my convertible Corvette?
It's crazy.
Why are you stopping me?
It's crazy. That's just a ridiculous idea. But, the reality is like, the thing that happens with vaccines is that if something bad is going to happen... unless this is somehow also different than every other vaccine that we've ever had on the planet, if there are going to be some crazy side effects, we'd have had them by now, because that's how that works. So, like, if you got sick because you got a vaccine when you were younger, like, the result was, though, you haven't been getting the thing that you had since then, right? Like, people are always like, yeah, I took a flu shot once, and then I got sick that one time, but, like, I never got it again, but I don't really get the flu at all. And I'm like... maybe it works, motherfucker. Like maybe that's part of what's going on. But the thing is like, yeah, you got COVID twice, bitch. You killed your grandma. You killed your grandma by proxy.
The stupidity that people have about not getting fucking vaccinated is just insane. Like, I understand that there's a handful of people, and when I say handful, I mean handful in the general population, compared to the rest of the 330 million people here, that can't get it. But the people choosing not to get it, waiting and seeing what the fuck is, like, are you waiting for a specific person to die?
This one guy said he wasn't. He wasn't.
I'm waiting to see if this homeless.
This one guy was like, I'm not an early adopter. He's like, I figured the time I get it, they're just gonna come out with another one. And I'm like, that's not.
Yeah, he waiting for Generation 2? He waiting for Gen 2 vax?
That's not how protecting everybody works. You know what I mean?
Wait, how long was it between Xbox and the second Xbox?
The thing is,
Xbox 360.
The thing is, like, life.
Like 5 years.
The thing is, like, there's life going on during that whole time. That's the issue that's happening, and also, like, if you got the vaccine and then they came out with a vaccine too, and just go get that one. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm fine. I've got the vaccine. I'm chill. If they're like, yeah, can we get another one? I go get that one too. You know why? Because who gives a fuck? Like, what are we doing?
Also, and I can't stress this enough, like approximately 170 million Americans have been vaccinated. Okay?
Yeah.
170 million Americans have been vaccinated. And that means if this shit's going to turn us into zombies, or if we're all gonna be like robots.
Ain't nobody gonna make it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm eating all you non-vax niggas.
If they execute Order 66, if they execute Order 66, the chip goes off. Them Jedi ain't gonna make it, dog. We gonna kill all the Jedi.
Like,
them Jedi is toast, nigga.
That's the Civil War, vax versus unvax, and I like our odds. You know why? We vaccinated.
Speaking of,
our side's not gonna get as sick as much.
Speaking of what I like the odds of coming into this New Year is the Bulls making the playoffs. That's what I like the odds of.
Yes.
NBA free agency has kicked off. Yes, we were talking about fun things at less than a half an hour into the show. I know that's amazing. We're not arguing and yelling at each other, and we're at 30 minutes. This is great.
Hey, look, Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon have several houses built off arguing with each other. So I ain't gonna poo-poo that as a method for the show to work, but continue.
Yeah.
Where the money lies.
I think one thing we can agree on is the Bulls have made some big time moves. This is a team that honestly they were just boring before. This is the thing. There's a difficult thing that happens when a team does something where there'll still be people out there that are like, well, they're not gonna win a championship with those guys. And it's like, yeah, but they weren't even in the playoffs before, man. Like there's a thing about momentum with a culture of a team you try and build, and you have to start somewhere, and starting with that is getting a team that's exciting enough that people want to come and watch them. And you can figure out whether the guy you have that you're trying to build around is the guy you can build around, or do you need to create some because up until this point, the guys they had to work with were Thad Young and Tomas Satoransky.
Yeah.
And now they've got
Feliciano.
Now they got
Cristiano
Felicio. Actually,
Felicio,
it was Cristiano Felicio. This is a dude who is so
Ryan
unknown.
Arcanado.
Right.
However the fuck you say it.
Those are guys that are going to struggle to make G League teams this year. Okay, those guys that they let go.
Except for Thad Young. Thad Young.
Thad Young will be good for the Spurs. He'll be great.
He'll be great for the Spurs.
But Felicio and Archie Dinakano or whatever, those guys are.
I don't know if we're saying those names right. I'm pretty sure we're saying it wrong.
Those guys should get into coaching right now.
Yeah. How did they acquire them?
Well, they had those guys. Those are the guys they're getting rid of now. Those are the guys that are going to be gone.
Who brought them in?
The old.
I know.
Crew.
Can I go down? Because I got like 15 seconds of my time.
Yeah.
It is so nice to have to work with professionals. It's so nice to work with proper fucking professionals. Like the previous administration that the Bulls had. Garpax sucked, and they kept coming up with excuses of why we couldn't get free agents. And I just realized I owe Derrick Rose all the apologies in the world, and I understand it now. He didn't want to work with them motherfuckers. He didn't want to recruit for them because he didn't trust them niggas, and that's why he didn't want to recruit for the Bulls. It wasn't because he didn't want to help get a better team. He didn't want to put his name on these motherfuckers.
The new guys are on the show. This is their second year. So last year they got the Pat Williams kid, and then they made the move to get Vucevic, which at the time everybody shit on. But I thought I had agreed then that the move was
people were shitting on that.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of people that are like, and some people thought they were proved right. They're like, you got this guy to be a 9 seed. Like they felt trading. I think with the first round pick that they gave up along with Wendell Carter was a mistake. But here's what I feel about it. Over the last few years, the Bulls have been picking guys at 7, 8. You know what I mean? Like if they're planning on ascending, that pick isn't going to get closer to the top. That pick is going to get closer to the middle or the end of the first round. The goal? If the goal is to be better, then the picks are going to correspondingly drop as far as where you're going to be picking. Yeah. And also the guys they've been picking at 7. Not like 2 of them niggas is there and the rest of them is gone. So you know what I mean? Like the crapshoot that they've had between 7 and 15 has been mighty. And yeah, sometimes you get it right, but if you go wrong a couple times, you're out of a job.
So here's the thing:
these guys got somewhere to be. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna give Garpax credit for this. I don't think they got drafting wrong at all. I think they drafted quality players almost every time. They made some other mistakes. The problem was there was a reason why free agents didn't come to Chicago was 100% the front office. And the evidence of that is both Ball and DeMar DeRozan are here on sign-in trades. Sign-in trades, you have to get the player's approval first. Like, you don't sign and trade somebody and the player's like, no, I don't want to go there. Like,
right. They chose Chicago. And Caruso did too.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan, yeah, exactly. Caruso left L.A. to come here. That's a front office difference. Eversley, Mark Eversley, the Bulls GM, the brother, DeMar DeRozan's team put out to all the teams, if you want to recruit DeMar DeRozan, he's going to be in L.A., come holler at him there, woo, woo, woo. And he openly, I saw him on a podcast openly say he wanted to play for the Lakers, right? He openly said he wanted to play in L.A. He's from L.A. He wanted to play for the Lakers or the Clippers, right? And I don't know if he was the only person that did it, but Mark Eversley flew to L.A. and sat on dude's couch for 2 hours and talked to him face to face. He said the GM let it be known, not the GM, excuse me, dude's representation let it be known that some other teams tried to set up some Zoom shit and all that stuff. I believe that Eversley was the only one that like went to his crib and like sat down with him, talked to him. Like, there's a difference in how you do shit. And Paxson and those guys made mistake after mistake. Like fucking Dwayne Wade left here angry.
They were resting on the laurels of it being Chicago. They thought that Jordan lore was going to be enough to drive people in. And then when they thought they had Rose, they didn't think they had to really put any effort behind that. And they're
even when they left, they didn't think they did anything wrong. They did all the. They think they did everything right, and it's like
they were terrible talent evaluators. They were terrible at marketing themselves as a franchise to people, and they just made bad coaching decisions. So it's nice to see them make a. Here's the thing: the Bulls will probably. Oh my God! Well, one of the problems they had is they would never hire anybody with experience. They were always hiring guys who were a friend of somebody who went to Iowa State or somebody, or was a guy who was like first. It was always a bunch of first head coaching job guys, and sometimes it worked out pretty well. Sometimes, like with Thibodeau,
like Tibbs was great,
and sometimes it was Bill Cartwright. You know what I mean?
What's the other Scott Skiles?
Scott Skiles.
Scott Skiles was all right.
Scott Skiles was only good because he was a goddamn grinder. Okay, that dude
was Tibbs basically.
Yeah, those guys were meat grinder coaches. Yeah. Those guys were grinders. But they have Billy Donovan now, who's a successful head coach, which is a good move for them.
Smart coach.
The team will probably finish 5th or 6th, maybe. Which they may get if they're fortunate to get home court for the first round. But I don't see that happening, which is okay because here's what I see out of that is like even if they get that. All these contracts are in off years, so none of them end at the same time, which means they have freedom to work with all this shit. They could legit get a superstar away in a heartbeat. One upset superstar that sees Chicago make a leap could make a quick change in a hurry.
That's exactly what I was going to jump in and say. I think what they have set their table for. Okay, what predictions they're going to be as far as end of season record next year don't mean anything at all. They got to play games, but everybody's projecting them 4, 5, 6 somewhere in there, right? Literally, I've heard people say it. They literally went Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Miami, Chicago. Is how
was that Michael Wilbon?
No, it was somebody on ESPN.
Was that my mom? My mom might have. That sounds about where my mom's rating would have been. It's like, am I being realistic?
I can't remember if it was on Highly Questionable or The Jump. I can't remember if it was Highly Questionable.
Was it Sarah Spain? Because she's a Chicago homer, man. She's not gonna. On the flip side of that, you're out in L.A. where the Lakers have gotten a bunch of people who are pretty much your age. They're all guys who are.
Yeah, they got the Hall of Fame early retirement crew.
They're like, hey, man, anybody about to pick up their last check? Because we would like you to come and...
Those motherfuckers got a cold-ass 3-on-3 team.
Dude, they're big. If they were the big
three, if they were like three big three teams.
Yeah, they could sponsor a few big 3 teams. Yeah. They've got we're 2 years away from playing in Shanghai together team. They're squad.
These motherfuckers, they starting 5 are all Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
All Hall of Fame, let me
lay out these numbers. Carmelo Anthony is 37 years old. LeBron James is 36 years old. Trevor Ariza is 36 years old. Marc Gasol is 36 years old. Dwight Howard 35 years old. He'll be 36 in December. Wayne Ellington is 33. Kent Bazemore is 32. Russell Westbrook is 32.
Oldest team in league history.
That is,
and they some ballers though. Here's the thing that's cold about what they did is.
Their fast break is going to look like a Toyota Prius, but it's going to get there.
Here's the thing. That they're so deep. They're so deep. Them niggas only got to play 20-minute games.
Right.
Like LeBron, Westbrook, and AD are still going to play 32, 33 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And a couple utility motherfuckers yet to be named are going to be in there eating up minutes. But
they got Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, Kendrick Nunn.
They got Kendrick Nunn. And they got fucking Malik Monk.
Yes. Them niggas going to get mad like garbage minutes when the game is out of play so these motherfuckers can rest. I'm telling you, these niggas gonna have ice on their knees with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter on quite a few games.
They gonna have the most water on the sidelines of anybody in the league. It's gonna be electrolytes. They're gonna be so much Pedialyte.
But they gonna ball though. Here's the thing, Rob. I believe they gonna ball because them motherfuckers they gonna have the NBA's version of Cocoon.
Betty White is coming back to the fucking games again. She's like.
Hey. I'm just saying one thing.
I know these guys.
Anthony Davis is the truth.
Anthony Davis is great.
You don't have to be the best motherfuckers in the world when you got somebody that big that's that versatile.
But then they went and got him anyway, though. So.
You ain't got to be that bad on the fast. As long as he down there. And as far as the Bulls, I was a sports fan most of my life. And, but now I can take it or leave it, but that's not the point. The thing about the Bulls, I want y'all to listen to yourselves. The same shit that you are saying right now is the same shit that we was saying when we was watching them motherfuckers before Jordan. Now, even after Jordan, all of that time it was fucked up. Yeah. And it was for the same goddamn reason. It's because they do not respect the athlete.
Well, that's changed though. That's what we're saying is that the new guys who are there.
The new GM is black, and the president is he's European.
Yeah, that was your whole point is that homie went out to L.A. just to sit with DeRozan, like that to signal like a change in what their ideal is, and that's what they're doing is I think what they realized with Gar Pax who they let go of is like that does not work. They need some people who are a lot more connected to the athlete in the modern game.
But understand what I'm telling you. I'm not just talking about basketball. I'm talking about all sports in Chicago. They never really look at the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears don't. I know the Bears don't.
Not respect the athlete.
Well, I think that's an NFL problem, period, though, because NFL contracts are largely not guaranteed. The turnover in the NFL is insane on all those teams.
Yeah,
there's no respect for the athlete at all in the NFL. There's none of that.
I can't remember what the average NFL career is, but I think it's like 2 years.
The change in how contracts and the issue is that
listen. Don't get me wrong. It's got to be a reason that nobody want to play here. Play there. It's got to be a reason.
Well, there was that's changed though.
I'm saying like all of sports, not just. I'm saying you're saying all of football. It's places where you can go in the country and people will be like, that's not the way we do it here. That's the way they used to do it back in Green Bay, or that's the way they do it back in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Or some place that people don't want to be.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I mean is that our teams are always a place people be like, nah, fuck that.
Oh yeah, I know. I disagree with that. The Cubs and
the last couple years, the White Sox right now are
Cubs and White Sox and the Blackhawks have all been like destination spots. The Bulls and the Bears have had the ownership of the Bears is disconnected, I believe, and the management. I won't say the ownership because. I have a buddy. Shout out to my boy Jay.
Jay Love, shout out.
Jay Love, shout out.
He worked for the Reinsdorfs in 2005 when the White Sox won, and he could not speak more highly of them as good people. And everybody I know that says something about the organization speaks highly of the Reinsdorfs themselves. I just think Gar Pax I think Paxson was just an old. I think he was an old school
Chicago
basketball player.
Chicago struggles with loyalty issues, and that sometimes they are actually overly loyal to people they should have gotten rid of a long time ago.
Yeah,
Gar Pax was around way too long.
They just changed the jobs. The niggas still employed with.
They're still employed. Paxson is still employed. I think Gar is out. Gar Former I think is out, but Paxson I think is still employed. He's like a consultant or whatever now. It's just like the Reinsdorf.
He doesn't fire people.
No, he probably still got 17 girlfriends too. He probably never broke up with them either. Speaking of 17 girlfriends, Andrew Cuomo had a big whole thing came out.
Damn, wow. Wow, that was nice, B. That was nice, Bobby. Sorry for fucking it up.
The Attorney General from New York came out and basically laid out a bunch of shit that they found a culture that was filled with fear and intimidation. That Cuomo's harassment was normalized in the stuff that was going on.
He looks like Mo Sizlak. Like he does not. Nobody's gonna believe you, homie. Nobody's gonna believe you, homie.
Oh my god!
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, what's funny is that's what Cuomo's probably gonna end up having to do. He's probably gonna have to tend a bar somewhere after he's done with all this shit.
Like nobody's gonna believe you, homie. It's too. Like if it was one woman, if it was two, like some shit could seem politically motivated or something like this. Like as soon as this shit start coming out, that shit start coming out of woodworks. That's the shit that always like I am willing to give somebody who stands up and says I'm innocent. I'm willing to give them at least a chance. I fucked up. I gave Jesse Smollett a chance for a minute. I believe Juicy for like a whole day. I think that Erica Clark was like, nigga. I didn't know the whole story. I just wanted to support the brother and shit. Erica Clark.
That was it. I'm cheering for everybody black. I'm Miss Ray with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I just didn't want to believe it.
Every now and again we get behind the wrong horse, but it ain't that.
Yeah. Well, they interviewed 180 people while they were looking into this. More than 74,000 records of text, pictures, and emails used as evidence. This
numbers I can't ride with.
That's a lot.
That's when you lying, dog.
If you go through all that shit, and then the New York Attorney General comes out and is like, yeah, this nigga been touching people and harassing and shit. I don't know. You should probably just be like, so I touched a few people. At that point, you just got to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Did you see what his response was? He released I think an 18-page booklet with like all these pictures of him hugging and touching other people who were basically, hey, these motherfuckers ain't press charges. What's up?
Yeah, he's basically
look at me hugging and kissing the Pope. He's cool with it. Like, come on, man.
Look at these other people that I probably traumatized with my weird, clammy fucking hands. who don't have the guts to say something about it. Look at these guys that I scared into it. What's weird is that first of all, this is one of the main differences that we're seeing in this is that Democrats are all pretty much like, yeah, man, get the fuck out. Like we're just like Democrats, liberals, anyone to the left is just like
top to bottom, president on down.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, yeah, he got to go.
Even Mr. Old hug him by the shoulders and whisper in their ear, Joe Biden was like, hey man, this is just doing too much, dog.
Hey, but this is what I like because it was straightforward. The reporter was like, hey, you said before if the district attorney came back and said he did some shit, you was going to tell him he got to go. What do you got to say now? He got to go. I said what I said, nigga. He got to go.
I mean, here's the thing. If it wasn't for the fact that men so often will say shit like that in the midst of being assholes themselves, it would almost make me be like, that's the type of shit that makes you want to believe somebody a little bit more. We're like, maybe Biden does just touch shoulders.
I'm telling you, man. I'm like, Joe Biden is Steve Rogers, nigga, and we in the timeline where he decided not to be Captain America, where he just came back.
Oh my god,
that is insane.
Joe Biden is Steve Rogers, nigga. That's what's up, man.
Wow, that is, man. You bleed fucking blue.
Actually, I'm getting out the party, nigga. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these niggas Hey, we carried these motherfuckers. Hey, you know, I feel
You
like
starting
right
to
now,
feel it? You starting to
nigga, I feel like black people are Marshawn Lynch on the Seahawks the year when them niggas tried to pass. Like, nigga, I got you all the way down here. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't even be right here if it wasn't for us. And you motherfuckers are not finna give me the ball right now so we can win? What the fuck are you doing? That's what I feel like black people are right now, nigga. We are unitedly Marshawn Lynch. We are the only reason why we here. Do you know what the fuck we would be if we didn't show the fuck up? And you motherfuckers are not gonna give us the ball right now? God damn. I'm ready. I'm done with these motherfuckers, man. I'm done. Fuck Joe Biden. I was making a joke because that nigga kind of look like man, I'm tired of these motherfuckers, man.
Like
I am
Steve
done,
Rogers.
man. He looks like old Ski Rogers. That's what I was making a joke, man. But like you tricking so because I wanted to say this shit, but we were having fun shit, so we weren't talking about the politics.
Oh,
but
shit.
yeah, fuck them, man. Like I'm sick of the niggas keep coming up with reasons why they can't do some shit when that motherfucker's like the only reason why we here, the only reason why we not a fucking Russian satellite right now is because of black people, and these motherfuckers are trying not to
man.
do the shit that we got them in there for. Fuck that.
Oh, fuck, man.
Thank you, my
Rob,
friend.
we finally got there.
Thank you, my friend, my loved one. Thank you. Let me tell you something about this nigga here.
Oh,
Let me tell you
shit.
something about this nigga here. When he whispers to you, the ground still shakes. And there have been a few times where this nigga checked me in public, but I was like, damn. That nigga's like, man, what the fuck is wrong
The
with you?
real Black Bolt. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker.
Now, the shit he's saying is right, is positive.
It also
and it's
helps
all
that.
the truth. But god damn, it's so violent, right? That just happened, right? Okay, all right. Well, okay,
Yeah.
I get the point.
Even
and
through
I'm
the
gonna-
Zoom,
I'm
it
gonna-
hits all of you, right? Right? It just.
I'm saying, like, I get the point, and I'm gonna adapt the behavior. Right? but if you give it back to him, it doesn't matter. You know
No,
what I'm
he can
saying?
absorb all that. That is
I
not.
don't
There,
care.
there is no. You can't get there. You can't get there. You can try, but you can't get there. You're not gonna get there.
Have you to finally, I'm saying yes, sir. I agree.
They finally introduced a 4-day work week in the United States in the midst of all of this. It's not going to go anywhere, but they've introduced it, which is a start. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. You know, when they say they introduce shit like this, it's just so that people can.
No, I disagree.
Somebody's got to write a column.
Here's the thing. It's gonna go because people are gonna be more productive, and they're gonna see it's more productive, and then people are gonna start switching to it. The reason why we haven't done 4-day work week isn't because there's like monsters at the top that just want to work people to death. It's because they have a 5-day work week and everything's set up to work 5 days, and we'd have to
Right.
change a bunch of shit
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
did this. So I want to see
Absolutely.
this shit work first before I pay for a whole nother operating system to do all this shit.
Here's the weird thing, though.
That's kind of where it is.
Companies are crazy. I was talking to somebody who had to start going back into the office again, and they work a job that they could totally work remote. Right? They're like involved in coding shit. They could totally do it remotely. They used to go in every day, and then it was like 3 days a week, and then the pandemic hit, and then they were just at home. And so now they're like trying to get them to come back and to work a few days a week, and it's like. What the fuck for? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you updated the office with a bunch of new shit, but like you didn't need to. You could have just, you know, like and don't get me wrong, I understand the idea of collaborative effort, right? I get that whole thing, but like companies are weird about that shit. It's like whittle down your space. Let people work from fucking home. Pay them a little bit less because you ain't got to worry about pay them from the
So
like.
I'm gonna tell you. Here's some behind the scenes from an economics point of view that I think is happening. I have not seen this happen. I am projecting this out for basically what I know for economics. So the reason why a lot of those companies, like for instance, let's say you have an office space downtown,
Right.
and everybody's been working from home. Well, if you work for the city of Chicago, you are doing everything you fucking can to get all those companies like Boeing and shit like that, get those motherfuckers back down here, because there are so many businesses downtown Chicago that rely on those people coming to get coffee in the morning, parking their cars, doing their dry cleaning down there, like all the ancillary,
Here's
all
what
the
it
other
actually
ones.
is.
And that's the tax base for the city of Chicago. So if that goes, we could. This is another thing. This is a paradigm shift. If we paradigm shift and everybody work from home, downtowns would eventually change, but they'd become ghost towns.
Here's what it actually is when they start looking into stuff like this. It turns out there's just a lot of people who work in management and middle management whose whole job is dependent on walking around and checking on niggas in the office. There's just a lot of, like, the way that companies get structured is you have to be able to create advancement opportunities for some people. And sometimes those advancement opportunities really don't become anything more than doing a lot of the same work you are already doing, plus keeping tabs on, like, a team of whatever your team is, right? You run the meetings or whatever. And what you kind of find is, like, the whole point of that gig kind of dissipates when you're not there to be, like, roaming around or patrolling the spot. That's the actual issue.
It's really, really painful is that transition. We spent some time together at a company that was trying to do the teleconferencing transition.
Yes.
That they're trying to do teleconferencing the same way that they did with, like, in-house employees.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way because when you're there in someone's presence, there's a reason to have all those interactions and do all that stuff. When somebody's in 4 states over, 4 states away, like, a lot of those interactions they're just not necessary. Like it was literally like we could have had like one meeting a week. Hey, this is what we want you guys to do this week. Let's check, and maybe some check-ins for progress and stuff like that. But it was no reason to have like a whole fucking thing, and we were having them every day because that was the reason. And that company ended up going out of business. Not because of us. Shit, we probably only thing keeping them in business for a while. But the company wanted to go in business. But one reason why they invested in all this shit to be able to do meetings in the same over the. This was before the pandemic.
They spent a ton of money on useless shit that we could have skipped in the first place. Is really what it comes down to.
They were trying to make it. They were trying to do the same paradigm. They were trying to take the current paradigm and shift it to the new one of people being off-site.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. People need to have some trust in their fucking employees and the idea that people want to keep their job.
Yeah.
Because most people do want to keep their job. They don't need somebody looking over them all the fucking time. They're going to do their job. Probably better.
Work and travel and everything is going to change pretty soon. Google says it's created something called a time crystal in a quantum computer. It's going to take a lot to, like, understand what all this is. But if you're listening to this, you should Google's time crystal and see all what it means. Basically, did we lose this?
No, we're fine.
Okay. Basically, it's going to allow us to do everything from probably creating a warp drive that would allow us to just go to Mars in a couple of days or whatever, to you name it. I mean, the level of computing that we'll be able to do is crazy. Let me see if I can figure out a.
Bet on Google.
It's gonna, right. It's just gonna allow for a ton of different things when it comes to our computing, the types of things we can create, what we can do in as far as travel and things like that. It's just wild because you're getting into quantum computing, and so what you can create in that, the ability to replicate things at a speedy nature, like you start getting into like Star Trek style shit once you get into quantum computing. And if you have a time crystal, you can really like fuck with how the whole thing works.
James, VR gaming.
I like that. I like how that's our first thing. Is
the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still gonna be VR. 'Cause, I mean, wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, transport me.
Yeah,
baby.
you're talking about
I
singularity.
want to send me to Los Santos
Singularity.
right now.
That's
yeah, like so. Yeah, it's one of those things where it is a missing link type of a thing, where it's like it unlocks a door to a bunch of different ideas that you've seen in movies and shit like that.
Nathaniel Reed.
Yeah, it takes a lot of like it's gonna probably fuck us all over is what's probably gonna happen. This will probably be the end of us all when it comes down to it.
This is quick, Bobby. I know I see the time. This is quick. I just want to say this.
Yeah.
I have a low-key theory about the word variant and the Delta and all the shit. Is the original COVID was the Kang we saw at the end of Loki, and there's a much worse variant coming, and
No.
that's the weed talking, but I just thought it was pretty funny.
I do want to add this one last thing. If you are some type of a graphic designer, Photoshop person, if you can do deep fakes, you should do them and you should put them on YouTube a lot. I do want to tell the story before we get out of here. Lucasfilm, there was a guy who's a YouTuber. He does deep fakes and stuff, which is basically like putting faces on other things, on other people, basically, and making it look realistic. He redid the ending of the second season of Mandalorian, where he did a more realistic looking Luke Skywalker than the one that they had done. Lucasfilm fucking hired him.
Whoa.
They were like, yeah, we want you to come work for us. And so it
okay.
Yeah, let's see if we can. Do they show a split screen? I haven't seen
Yeah,
this
I think
video.
they. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the guy.
It just
they
looks
hired.
way cleaner than the other one does. The other
And
one
that's
looks.
billions of dollars.
That's a bunch of time wasted with Mark Hamill that could have been used better. It's way better, man. It's way better.
I know we're not going to talk about it, but we watched the Suicide Squad last night. But the thing I want to mention is my son wanted to look at like the people listening to graphic designs and shit like that. Right. And there's like 40 fucking people.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's hilarious when you're like billions of dollars. Yeah. It's
One
like,
guy. There's one
dude
guy
at
on
home.
YouTube. You know what I mean?
One guy can do.
XL, man, what you got going on this week, man?
Teaching my son the art of basketball.
Oh, hell yeah. Got to try and get... Hey, listen, man, it's free agency season all the way around. Where can people see your crazy
everywhere.
tweets, all your crazy
XL
shit you got
comedy, COMEDY. That's me.
Rob, what's up with you, man?
Oh man, I was on that podcast. My mama told me with Langston Kermit. Check that out.
Yeah.
Check that out.
And
And you can find me everywhere on Robert_L_Hines. Also, remember, get those products to me. Let's make some money. Let's sell.
Yeah, let's do something, man. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. Find the pod at New OGs Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Get over to People of Comedy at People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram. Find all the great shows. Go out and see some live comedy, damn it, while you can.
Yeah.
Throw a mask on if you need to. Susu tonight. Mo Good.
Mo
Closing it out. Have a great one. We'll catch you next week. That's what's up.
Deuces.
When I started. Fuck your bitch, now she get attachment. She get calling. High school, you was that nigga. Now you falling. I'm a zigzag through the gang like I'm smoking on trees.